Okay, so we've reached over here. We're going to understand how ideas are connected. So it's saying the third and the fourth section will be a little more complicated. We are already doing exercises for the third and the fourth section. So some things that we have already done and some things we're doing right now. So this is almost the end, and probably this is going to be the last video of the listening section. Okay, so here are some examples of the information you may hear. So it might be a method used in a particular study. It might be the effects of an action, the reason of an action was the reason why an action was carried out, the conclusions that can be drawn out from a research, and the findings of an experiment. Okay, so we're going to listen to now 4 extracts, and we're going to decide what each extract is talking about. Is it talking about a method of a particular study? Is it talking about the effects of an action, or the reason why the action was carried out, or the conclusion that can be drawn from the research or the findings of an experiment? We're going to identify and decide what type of information that we will hear now. Yeah. No. Yeah, one will be left out. No problem.
Recording 28. 1.
I don't really understand why you contacted Professor Higgins. He has nothing to do with our faculty.
Well, we wanted to understand what impact an invention like this would have on the environment, and that's his area of expertise.
2. First of all, we put video cameras in the animals' cages.
Yes, and then we put various tools inside the cages and let the animals back in.
We video recorded them over 7 days and nights to see what they would do with the tools. 3.
After gathering all of our data, we looked at the results. We realised that the number of frogs in this area had actually increased over the last 10 years, rather than declined.
4.
So what does that all show?
Well, I think we can deduce from this that any development in this area should be halted until the animals have all been safely removed.
Okay. So, and the first one, what do you think was it about? Yeah, it was the reason of an action was carried out. Okay, what about the second one? What do you think that was about? Yeah, the method. They were talking about the method of using a video, how to record a video of those mice. So they were talking about the method over here. The third one, what were they talking over here? Yeah, they were talking about the findings of the experiment. What was the experiment about? The fourth one was about animals. They were talking about removing the animals. Yeah, the frogs. Yeah, the third one was about frogs that they found out the number had increased. The number of frogs had increased. 4. Yeah, the conclusion that can be drawn from research. So they made a conclusion that they first have to safely remove animals, and then they have to carry out, I think they were doing construction maybe, and then they will do the construction. Okay, so it was the conclusion that can be drawn from research. Okay, so listen to the second part of Paul's talk. Do you remember the first part of Paul's talk? The paleontologist who the guy was about. So we're going to listen to his second part of the talk, okay? Answer questions 1 to 4 with no more than 2 words. You can look at these questions. What information does Paul get from the machine he mentions? What did the government recently give Paul? What modern day problems does he say ancient animals can help with? What 2 causes of megafauna extinction does Paul hope to study? Okay, so let's listen to it right now. This is 29.
Recording 29.
What I appreciate most about my work is the fact that I can turn the fossils I find into information we can actually use. So, how do we extract that information? Well, first we need to run the fossil through a special machine. That gives me a date for the fossil. From then on, I begin to work out what type of animal it was, what it ate, and how it interacted with the landscape. Earlier this year, I was lucky enough to be awarded a grant from a government funding body. Paleontology isn't only about the past, it can help with current issues too. For example, I plan to use these funds to excavate new areas and try to find out how ancient creatures evolved during their own period of climate change, just as animals today have to. In another project, I'm going to study fossil collections that are housed in museums around Australia. I'm doing that to try to find out when Australia's megafauna became extinct. That is, all the giant mammals, lizards and birds. That will help us to finally find out what caused these extinctions. Was it nature or was it humans?
All right. So, what information does his machine give? Date. It gives a date. He puts the fossil inside, and I think he gets the date of the fossil, how old it is. Okay, he gets the date. The machine tells him the date. The second one, what did the government recently give Paul? They talked about it really quickly. They just said it quickly. I'm going to replay it later on, okay? It was a grant, okay? The government gave him a grant. Okay, what modern day problems does he say ancient animals can help with? He was talking about that in their own era, how animals evolved with climate change. So, in our time, how animals can respond to climate change. So, it was about, it can help us with climate change. Okay, climate change. Okay, so what 2 causes of megafauna extinction? Megafauna, fauna is animals, flora is vegetation. Megafauna extinction does Paul hope to study? Well, what are the 2 main causes that they're getting extinct? He mentioned there were humans and nature. These are the 2 reasons why they were getting extinct. Okay. I'll play this again later, okay? 3. Understanding and explanation. To help you prepare for the listening, read the information and the questions carefully and try to predict what information you will hear. Okay. Don't be worried if you see technical terms in listening questions. They will usually be explained to you. So, if they're going to mention technical terms, they're going to provide an explanation with it. Read the 2 multiple choice questions below. Use the information in the questions to complete the notes on the right. Okay, so this is a simple task. You just have to read the questions over here, and you have to fill these notes on the right. Okay, so the question is, what did the researchers find in their experiments on mice? A lack of exercise made them appear older. Their cells remained the same as they aged. Their cells were unaffected by changes in diet. This talk is most likely about research done on mice. The talk will probably mention about what of mice? Yeah, their cells. Anything else? Yeah, you can say appearance, cells, any appearance, diet, and also exercise. Yeah. Yeah, age of mice also. Age of mice. How they aged. So about mice, we're going to basically talk about how exercise affects them, what happens to their cells, how diet changes them. Okay. The next one, in the same way, we're going to fill the notes over here. What new discovery have scientists made about pigeons? They use the Earth's magnetic field to navigate. Their beak plays an important role when flying. A part of their ears help them find their way. During this talk, we'll probably hear what we already know about pigeons, as well as some information, scientific or new information. We'll find some new information to make it simple. I need to listen for whether pigeons use the Earth's magnetic field or their beaks or their ears to stop them getting lost. Okay, so before these are just notes. Maybe you might write them down, jot them down, or maybe you just might keep them in your head. That will help you easily answer them. Now we're going to answer these. I'm going to play the audio file number 30, and
Recording 30.
answer them.
1.
We've recently been doing some research involving mice. We were trying to find out what causes the cells in our body to age. Is it linked to diet or exercise? What we found was that if we allowed the mice no exercise, their cells deteriorated fairly rapidly, giving them a prematurely old body. The mice that did exercise showed less change in their cell structure and so seemed younger.
2.
We've known for decades that pigeons can navigate using the Earth's magnetic field as a sort of compass. What we don't know is how this works. In our research, we discovered that the pigeon's brain receives a signal from its middle ear that the brain then processes to determine both their direction and the strength of the magnetic field. Previously, it had been thought that it was the bird's beak that held the answer, but this has since been proven false.
Okay, so what did the researchers find in their exercise? A lack of exercise made the mice appear older. What new discovery have scientists made about pigeons? No, this is not the new discovery. They already know this. This is an old discovery. Yeah, they were confused whether they pigeons use their beak or their ear. So the beak theory has been proven to be false. So it's the ear that helps them understand their direction, and this is how pigeons travel. Okay, it has a connection with their brain. Okay, so it's C. Okay, now it's saying why were the other options incorrect? So in B, their cells, it's mentioning their cells remain the same as they aged. So in the talk, in the monologue, they were saying that, I think she was saying that they age. Since they age, their cells change. Okay, so that is why B is incorrect over here. C. Why is this incorrect? They didn't talk anything about diet. We didn't listen anything about diet. So that is why C is incorrect also. Okay, so this is just extra information given over here. Okay, it's not information, it's just an extra option given here. 2, what was the things that were wrong over here? Their beak plays an important role. That's not a new discovery. They thought that might be the answer, but it has been proven wrong. So it's not the beak that helps pigeons navigate. Okay, and A. Why is A wrong? A is wrong because they're talking about a new discovery, not about an old discovery. So this was something they knew decades before. So that is why the Earth's magnetic field is true, but it's known already. It's not asking about this. Okay, that's why it's wrong. Okay.